Good morning, everyone. Wearing the Mickey D hat today because it's been a hell of a market, and you got to celebrate sometimes when we got to go get jobs at McDonald's. Hopefully, everyone's having a great day today. I'll see you guys in the chat. Someone is both first and gay. Great to see it. I need to get my banner up. Hold on. Let me add the banner that says something stupid like place your bets in the chat on who is going to be working at McDonald's after we find them for LARPing on Ethos. For LARPing on Ethos. Scroll across the bottom. There we go. There we go. Good morning, everyone. Hopefully, I got the new setup here. I literally rushed to code it, not to code it, to just pull it together in the last minute here. I do like the narrow things here. I mean, it forces me to frame things a little bit better, but it should be a little bit better for vibe coding and look really nice. Let's see who's in the chat. Zaxon's not first. Craig's not first either. A lot of good people in here. Hey, Christian, good to see you again. And even Premium Saltine, who's going to be working at McDonald's with me. Fries in the bag, bro. Where'd you get that soccer jersey? I don't have a soccer jersey. I don't know what you're talking about. What's that saying about bag and fries? Yep, exactly. Fries in the bag. That's all of us right now, including us Wilfie buyers. Oh, I don't know. I'm DC'd at 0.21, so it looks pretty good to me. Today is not about trading though. I could do a trading live stream if we want to do that one day. Today's about some of the stuff that we have shipped lately. We spent the last week on this community analysis tool. Yeah, soccer. Look, if you're in the US, you have to use the word soccer. Otherwise, people will not know what you're not being specific enough. So if you say football in the US, they'll definitely think you're talking about something else. Did you just say that we're both about to go work for Ronald McDonald? That's right, buddy. Ethos ain't paying the bills these days. It's over. Why do you think I asked the question? I asked the question about, would you be disappointed if Ethos was gone forever? That was my Hail Mary. That was my attempt to get someone to fund Ethos because we're out of money and we're going to go broke soon. Hopefully you understand some good old American sarcasm. If not, I'm sorry. That's just how we roll in the US. We have today some good vibe coding stuff to go over. We built the site together last week. I did work over the weekend a little bit to make it a little bit more robust, to make it a little bit more informational. I think there's a lot of stuff we can learn from the site. There's a lot of feedback that I'd love to get from you guys on some of the communities and their names and stuff like that. And thinking about how this actually turns into an EAP that could affect Ethos. Some of the original analysis and thoughts, if we go back to what we were trying to do here, we had this concept of well, we have community 1, we have community 2, and how are these people that are between different communities? What do you determine as local reputation, which is what you have here, versus global reputation? And to be honest, I wasn't super explicit about this originally, but a lot of this is stemming out of abuse. People are abusing Ethos, not in a terrible way, not in a way that's keeping me up at night, but they are finding ways to create more credibility than someone else that might not be participating heavily in Ethos has. You could say skill issue, which I wouldn't disagree with. I do think there's a little bit of skill issue. I think people should want to participate in Ethos, and in the future they will always participate in Ethos because that'll be how everyone looks each other up and understands who each other are. But that's not to say that it's not the number one objection that I get with Ethos. It's not the number one thing that people give me feedback on. So it's something that I've been thinking about trying to find. Yeah, stream named so bait for real. Yeah, I'm learning that I'm learning how to become I almost walked myself into a trap. The master of those types of different ways to bait people into clicking on the title. So thank you for setting me up for that one. I don't know who the answer is yet. You can place your bets in the chat if you want to, if you think you know. There are some people that I would say identified that I'm yep, this person seems like they knew how to take advantage of everything. Again, I want to go through some more of the like practical examples and kind of show you like, here's an example of like someone that you may have never heard of before that's showing up as exemplary right now, and they're not really exemplary. Or like you compare that to like a Zach XBT or something that most people think is exemplary, and they're not. So that concept of global and local reputation is still the theme that I'm harping on. And yeah, good morning, everyone. Yuri, hello, Phoenix Scribe, and Mur NFT. I don't know if that's a misspelling of Mr. Maybe Mur is Mr. in another language, but welcome, and I'm glad you're all here. I try to make it interactive. If you guys will chat with me, I'm like a walking trampoline, I guess. If you bounce things off me, I will absolutely respond. So I appreciate a good healthy chat. I think that's the difference between good streams and shitty streams is engaging with people. That's also why I like to stream versus do spaces. I feel like spaces are very boring. When you do a space, it's like people arguing to take their microphone from each other, and there's no chat. The people that have the most to say, they're usually in chat somewhere. So keep the chat up. That's what I want. I really want to make this something that we can all benefit from. So, okay, so we've got the app out there. We will spend a little bit of time vibe coding, I promise. But I did want to go through some of the early like data we had, and I just have this locally. But if you don't have it, it is Ethos Network. Fucking hell. What graph? Ethos? What is it? What is the site? Dino. Does anyone have it handy? I can't even remember what it is. I published it. It's out there somewhere. I feel like an idiot. Let me just go to my profile. It's on here. It's like the last post here. Here it is. This one. Okay, so if you need it, it's Ethos Network Analyzer.dino.dev. Oh, thank you, Colorbuck. You got it in there. Yeah, if you want to go play around with it yourself, you can. I'm just running it locally so that I can play around with things. There's a bunch of things that I learned. Remember, everything is based on vouching. And I had a few people that brought up some other concepts, other ideas, other things that we could implement. I did try to do it with reviews once, and it made it very messy. Hello, GM Joe Star. Apologies for Telos Agent tearing you a new one with the 3 negative reviews. Don't worry, I didn't forget about you. There, we have. Oh, and happy Labor Day, everyone! If you're into that, if you took the day off, I hope that I don't know why you've listened to me on your day off, but yeah, hopefully you took some time off from work. I'm not. I don't have any days off. So when it comes to this, we identified a bunch of different communities, and this is just one interpretation of Leiden algorithm sorting. I am not an expert. I am not a data scientist. I am using Cursor to LARP. If you want the answer, I'm the biggest Ethos LARP, okay? I'm the one that LARPs the most. Like I pretend like I know what I'm talking about and I don't. So what I'm trying to tell you guys is we have a lot to learn together when it comes to this. And I found a lot of really interesting things out through this community analysis. But I haven't found things that are like, absolutely, this person is 100% LARPing. Now, there are a couple of communities that I have been a little bit interested by, and I hope this loads. The page is pretty laggy. We've added some of the things like on this community that I labeled the Chinese community because it's mostly who is in this community right now. What are the percentages of people that their reputation is exclusively inside this community? And one thing that I do want to change this to is I'm just going to quickly send this to Cursor, and I'm going to say, I'm also going to say, can we also, I want to make these percentages here so that users can see like I basically want these to be in a percentage next to it. So that users can easily see what the number is, but also have an idea of the makeup. I.e., in this example, it should be 23% of total. Let's see if it gets what I'm trying to say here. So I'm going to pop this back over here. Again, you can see from up and down we have a lot of people in here that have 100% internal vouch reputation. The vast majority of people in this cluster are exclusively internal. Some of them have a very high amount, such that it's 28 received within and just 1 received externally. Now, these are the people, like, I apologize to Kathy. It's not saying anything negative about Kathy or Kem or any of these people. It's just acknowledging the fact that the majority of these people are actually earning their reputation exclusively through the concept of them reviewing, actually vouching each other within this group. So whenever I look at some of these graphs, I added a little bit of color here, and I feel like the color has helped a lot. I can click on some of these communities and just get a real quick glimpse at, like, the vouchers that are going between people. Are they 100% within this community? Are they a little bit outside of the community? And when I did add a little bit of stuff, like, you can mouse over some of these and see, like, okay, this person has received 2 vouchers exclusively within the community. The person that it came from, in this case, this person has, 47 received within, 8 without. I can make my computer lag super hard if I start dragging them around, because it's such a massive graph. Like, Token Brother here is one that has a lot in this. It's going to lag so hard for me. So I'm going to scroll back up. But you can see here, like, we've got all of these users. Oh my God, okay, I got to refresh, or it's just going to take my computer out. I would like to figure out the performance problem, but it's like a graphic rendering problem. There are some users in here that I thought were really interesting. And again, I think one of the ones that stuck out to me was this Tyler guy. You can see, like, I don't have definitive proof or anything like that, but he's actually received 23 vouchers from within this group. He's given 49, and he's only received 4 and 8 outside of it. When I look at some of the, like, nodes he's connected to, it's actually a lot of nodes that are also red too. So, like, he's got, like, a bunch of people here that he's vouched for that are kind of insular to this community. So, like, it's been fascinating to be able to quickly glance at stuff like this and say, like, oh, okay, I see now why this person is scored like they are. And to be honest, I don't know that, like, I have a definitive idea if I think Tyler is overvalued or undervalued, but it is something that is interesting that has stuck out to me. If I go back over here, it says, okay, it's going to show me the numbers and percentages now. I don't know if it did that in the meantime. It did. Okay, so this community, this Chinese community that we identified, 61% of them are internal and only 7% of them are getting external. So again, it's not a huge indicator, but I wanted to create some baselines. I'm going to ask Cursor for one other thing, which is, can we also show off what the average and median score is within a community? We'll say Ethos score within a community. It'll understand it. We can put it up to the right of this density thing. We can put these to the right of density at the top. So I'm just trying to get more information about the community themselves. Yeah, what's up, Mushahid? Good to see you. Loving the new stream setup. Yeah, it feels a little more professional, huh? I don't look like such a LARP. I mean, if you think about it, how far have we come? I was, like, streaming. I mean, I used to have a good setup for work, but I haven't had a good setup in a while. When I started streaming, it was shit. Now it looks professional. Like, yeah, it's come a long way. He was one of the first to use the Bluebird review app. Yep, 100% he's using the Bluebird review app. He sold invites directly in the Chinese chat. Okay, well, there you go. There's our number one Ethos larper. I don't know if this guy's paying attention or not, but yeah, like, I don't think that it definitely indicates that he is 100% LARPing, but it's probably not a good sign. There's a lot of colors going on, and it does look like a kid threw up spaghetti on a lunch plate, but it's still helpful to see. You can see some of the, like, blue nodes of people popping off. You can see people that are even, I thought it was interesting. I saw someone that was yellow in here. He's given a vouch here for someone. Oh, he gave a vouch for this guy. No, who did he give a vouch for? It's hard to see it over this guy. Yeah. Yeah, this guy's getting vouched by a bunch of randos in this group. Again, this is all math based, and it is even also showing density. So one of the first takes that we had on this, it didn't show density. This is showing like the closeness of these people within the group. People that are a little bit further away from the group or only have one vouch, meaning like, you know, this guy is connected to this guy, which has a ton, or let's see, I think it was a Tyler guy. He's connected to a bunch of people, and you can kind of see how it pushes him off the graph here of people that he vouched for and people that that person vouched for that are also included. So it's been really interesting to see some of this. I'll click on another one, and I'll click on Alpha Gems. Is anyone on Alpha Gems in the chat? I don't know if you guys pay attention or not. I'll use that to decide how I'll talk about Alpha Gems. Catch up with the chat. You're doing so well. Good to see your name. Name and face. Yeah, my name's Trevor. Serpent Text, whatever. Same thing. How much per invite? Yeah, they're going for 10 to 15 bucks on Exaverse. If you pay for an invite, you're an idiot. That's some serious accusations. Where can I see the proof? I don't have any proof, bro. This is just accusation land. I don't have proof. I'm not slashing these people. I'm just looking around. I'm just trying to get a nice sense of like what the math says. Okay, let's look at Alpha Gems. There's a couple people in Alpha Gems in the chat. Alpha Gems has been one that I think everyone that is in Alpha Gems should take a step back and look objectively at. Alpha Gems was very good early on at being early to Ethos. I have always advocated that people should vouch for people within their community. They should review people within their community. They should enjoy each other's presence and show that enjoyment on chain for everyone to see. And they did a really good job of participating. It has also meant that a lot of people that are in Alpha Gems have very high scores, especially because, you know, vouching happens for 180 days. And it has helped a lot of them propel themselves into exemplary status and things like that. It has also been a very contentious point for us as Ethos. This group of people that people don't otherwise know, that are specifically within Alpha Gems and particularly pretty much like only known within Alpha Gems, they're really high. Some of these are scored higher than Zach XBT as an example. And me as Ethos and trying to, the CEO of Ethos, founder, whatever, trying to be objective about it, I'm trying to build a better understanding of like, well, is that fair? Is that accurate? And if look, there's Joestar right there. Look, he's kind of on the fringe. Joestar's got a lot of people within that community that he has vouched for and has vouched for him. And then you've got actually a bunch of people that are kind of on the outside of that community. And we don't show the ones that are external for what it's worth. We've got people in here like Rares who are split between internal, actually has more external. So he knows a lot of people in this community, but he also knows a bunch of people outside of this community. That's a better showing of global reputation. And I'm not going to pick on anyone in particular. I'm just going to kind of click through it. Tulip's got 31 within, 10 from without. I think Soda Pop probably has a pretty good number without too. Yeah, like more indicative of global reputation. But like if you take someone, let me see, like I think JMC is pretty good and well split. A lot of people are well split. I think it was Zero is one that was, or Vera. Yeah, Vera. Sorry, Vera, if you're here. But like 22 vouchers received and given within this local group. To me, that is an indicative that no one outside of that group really knows who this person is or is willing to put their money where their mouth is to say that they like them. And I don't think that means that they're not reputable. It just means that, like, should they be able to build up as much reputation because they are not known outside of different circles. And so I've been able to spot some of these. I don't think that this like 100% is the best example either of like, oh yeah, absolute versus no. Let's see if it actually implemented it. I'm going to move this back over here. Absolute versus no credibility. Like, okay, yeah, if there's only 5 and 5 and 2 and 2, then like this isn't the best compared to someone that's 15, 14, and 6. Like you need some way to weight the actual external, the number of them in versus like 0, 0, 0 and 1, 1, if that makes sense. If it doesn't, we're going to go through it anyways. But like, yeah, here's a good example of like this Daemon guy here, 34 within the community, 23 without. That's pretty good signal. What I would like to do and what I'm thinking about doing within these groups is I don't think it's as fair if your vouching comes exclusively from within your community to say that you are as reputable as someone like a Zach XV2 who could be easily vouched for by many people outside of his community. Okay, let me catch up. Can you scan through my Nigerian community? If you are a part of that community, I can always look up your name and see where you pop up. But remember, it's not selecting it based on any data it has. It's just selecting it based on people that have vouched. I didn't see that we're live. Yeah, we're live right now. Should I have sent an alert out? I don't know. I tried to. You got to turn me on noties, man. You got to turn those noties on so that you get all my posts, all my shit posts. Let me see if I can refresh this, because it did say, I did ask it to add, I wanted it to add the number of the average median ethos score for each community. Because one of the things that I was trying to build a better understanding of is how do these communities relate to one another? Here's another one of people that, okay, cool, that I kind of know. Oh yeah, we should use color coding for this, I think. I'm just going to pop back over to Cursor and say, can we use the ethos scoring color coding to match? The same that we're using for edges and circles around face piles. That way it's a bit more obvious. So yeah, I just didn't like that the color is kind of off here, but so you can kind of see then, okay, this community here has an average score of 1572 and a median score of 1567. Again, I'm trying to build more data on these communities, and okay, this one's 1600 and they have 44% of them are internal. If we go look at the Chinese community, you're like, okay, their average is 1505 and around the same amount of internal ones. If we go back to the new CIS group here, much lower score because they're earlier, I would say, and a little bit lower in terms of internal. So again, I'm just trying to build up that relativity, so that understanding of like, okay, this versus that versus the other thing. Oh, should we do an ethos visor? I'd have to, I gotta get Grump. Yeah, I forgot. It's like, we could do like a Wall Street Bets style one. I do like this one. It makes me feel like I'm playing poker or degenerately gambling on Wolfie. I love how Claude works with code. Yeah, it's pretty nice. This idea that people can review the restaurants and then maybe the hotel and fight. What? Did I miss some other context of that? Oh, I have one too. I wanted to create an agent using that. I don't understand the full context. Let's see. What else did I miss? Anything else? No way we are turning on notifications on you. Yeah, you would cry. I probably tweet 50 times a day. I try to tweet 50 times a day. Attention's all you need, man. You just got to be able to retain attention. And drama is the flywheel that pushes ethos. And I'm leaning into it right now. So let me refresh this. It does say I pulled up Cursor. Again, I'm kind of like popping Cursor in versus what I usually do. But let me make this just a little bit bigger so you guys can see it too. So Cursor is now giving it, just changed the colors correctly. So when I refresh and look at some of these, it should have the right colors up here. Yeah, there you go. So average score is known, I guess. Median score is this. Again, I don't think we're going to see any like major things out of it. I just want to start building the relativity up. There were some communities that I wanted to at least understand more about. So if anyone wants me to look up their name, I'd love to do that. And we can talk a little bit about the community and if you think it actually represents you or not. Holy moly. The idea is that people, I already read that one. Can it be the other way around? What communities someone vouched for? It's the same thing. So it's effectively circular, triangular, pentagonal, octahedronic. I'm just making shit up now. Yeah, like if you vouch for someone else, they would probably show up in your community. It's not going to show everyone that you vouch for outside of your community. There are ways that we can improve these communities for what it's worth too. Do I need Elon money? I don't need Elon money, but yeah, I think that more people are farming Elon money than people realize. Do you know anything about Asensis? Trying to get me to say something inappropriate here, bro? Yeah, Square's Tutty. I don't know why he didn't show up earlier. Okay, why? Okay, we'll ask Cursor. Damn it. Okay, I'm searching for someone named, it's eth_, and they're not showing up in my search for some reason. Are they in any of our communities? Let's see what it says. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know why I saw the bug earlier. I keep forgetting that it's hard to tell when something is a reply in chat. Oh, you can reply to things? I don't see them. All I see is a stream of chats. I'm not looking at the actual X one. I'm looking in StreamYard. So I can't see the replies for what it's worth. Yeah, you should use repliers. Something does not confuse me so much. Oh, this is the NFT that targeted Ethos users. Yeah, I don't have I haven't really spent a whole lot of time researching it. I just know that they targeted users with good Ethos scores. Maybe they went for validators. So I'm happy to throw support to them. I thought you were bold. Don't ban me. I can't ban you. He has short memory. He forgot that he quoted them a few hours ago. Yeah. No, I just sometimes I don't fully whenever I'm like looking at a 4-point font, like my memory association between what I say and read and what is actually happening is a little bit more difficult. I will say that like whenever we're gonna get a lot of inbound, there's gonna be a lot of people that are gonna target Ethos users, whether it be scorers or validators. That is not a like you should 100% mint this thing. You're going to make money on it. This is financial advice. It's none of those things, right? It is a team is trying to get to the best people out there, and they're going to target people that are good-willed, are reputable in the space. They want to target people um, for a specific reason. And so I would always think about anytime you see an integration with Ethos or people targeting Ethos, like that's just how it's going to be. That is not a like I will go and vouch for a project if you want me to fully endorse them, but it is never an endorsement. All right, let's see what it did. It said automatically searches all members and oh, interesting. It was only doing it the first 40 in community, so that's probably why. So let's try it again and see if that fixed it. Holy moly, Ghoster left us a. I think I won first to whitelist for an NFT project. Buying validators is financial advice. Do it. Yeah, if I had no morals or ethics, I would say that there are tons of companies coming to buy your validators and you should hide them because they're so important and the DATs are coming and stuff like that. But yeah, this is not financial advice. Yeah, Alpha Gems is on TV. That's true. Let me pop this open real quick. Oh yeah, we were searching for Tut. Will it work? Need live prediction market betting on this. It doesn't seem. I didn't realize it would only search the first 40, so that's obviously why it wasn't working originally. Um, I don't know if it's working or not. Let's see. Let's see if we got a console error. Refresh. I knew I'd get these because this is just the typical loading of old images. Yeah. Okay. So it says it's searching. Let it go. Ghoster's got a really long message. Jesus. I'd like to ask if a community that you formed, including mine, has any connections through vouching. For an example, in our community 39, we exclusively give each other vouchers because we trust each other and are confident with each other's reputation. And there are no mutual reviews. How appropriate is this behavior in terms of raising the ethos score? This is good behavior. I mean, this is where it is a difficult fine line for me to talk about because I want to encourage people that know each other to vouch for each other. That's the point. You guys know each other. The difference is when you're talking about two people, relatively speaking, how reputable is Jim from Bob? Well, if Jim has a bunch of vouchers from a bunch of different places, in my opinion, that makes him more reputable than Bob, who only has vouchers from within his community. That's not a slight at Bob. It's just it's an objective way to look at it. People that have more popularity typically do have more reputation because more people know them from different communities. It's not a bad thing to have mostly internal vouchers. And I don't think that's how I'm thinking or about implementing a new EIP or anything like that. Like, we're mostly thinking about it that people with global reputation should be lifted up, and the amount of local reputation that you could earn should be more limited. That way, we are both Sybil resistant. We are, local reputation can be valued, but not at the same rate as global reputation. Hopefully that kind of makes sense. What AI do you use in cursor between? Is that Claude? Yeah, I'm using Claude. Claude is just my go-to every single time I use it. It gives me the best results. Okay, so I'm just getting it loading forever. It's stuck there just loading forever. Maybe we can load more than 40 at a time in a preview. Seems fine. Let's see what. Someone make a shortcut when Serpent calls to buy a validator. Red button with a buy on it. Invest. Sorry, Todd. I'm working on it, man. I promise. Send your private key. I will buy for you when he calls for it. Yep. Don't think that's how it works. Any reasons why you're worried about it? Yeah, because I think people are potentially. I would say like it is undoubtedly true that someone is always going to try to spoof their reputation on Ethos. Like without a doubt, always going to be true. And we have to ensure that we are being diligent with researching that, understanding how they're doing that, and enforcing potential loopholes that that might exist. And to be honest, this is a loophole. If you had 100 civil accounts and they all vouched for each other, then it would be very easy to spoof your credibility. And I don't think anyone that has shown up is explicitly in like I am spoofing my reputation category, but relative to other people that genuinely, authentically have reputation that at a more global level, these people are being valued and looked at in the same way, which is what I'm worried about. I hope that makes sense because it's kind of a tricky thing to talk about. Like the difference between a Sybil and someone who's farming and has mostly local reputation is a very fine line from between those two things. So we have to get that right. I'm not like, oh my God, you guys are a bunch of idiot clown farmers that are screwing up the app. I'm trying to like figure out where that balance is. But if I'm thinking about what is another one piece of feedback I get as Ethos, people that prevent me from ending up putting fries in your bag the next time you go to McDonald's, it's people look at the leaderboard and they go, that doesn't make a lot of sense. Those people aren't like super globally reputable. Those are people that are very locally reputable. And I would agree with that. All right, now it's only going to search first 200, which is dumb because we have a couple communities that have over 200. So I'm just going to ask it, wait, but we have some communities with over 200 people. Can we not just search them all? Who cares if it takes a bit of time? I don't see why we only search for top 200. Maybe it's going to tell me I'm an idiot. For example, I don't have any mutual reciprocated reviews, but I do have many reciprocated vouchers. Yeah. No. They raised the question for me, how much does this correspond to appropriate? I think it's totally appropriate. I mean, that's why I'm trying to draw that line of like, I don't think you're wrong for doing so. I just think that your upside of how much reputation you can earn, it should be somewhat limited, if that's fair, if that's understandable. Yeah, sweet cap, dude. Thanks. It's a Pfizer. And yeah, if you don't know, this is like before Jack Butcher was had his project, and there was a Gremlin. I mean, VGF knows this, I'm sure, but I'm preaching to the choir. Gremlin did like it's meant to be McDonald's, but it's like in pixel form. So yeah, I bought it probably in 2021 or something. Yeah. VGF has one. There you go. Put the fries in the bag, and at the same time, he touched his hat. Yeah, exactly. I don't know what that means. I just always think about the Trump gif now. Put the fries in the bag, Gremlin style. Yeah. I don't think there were that many. I think this was like a limited thing. I remember, okay, this is how dumb the space was before. I remember people being like, you're going to be able to flip that on eBay. Like, what the hell? People were buying these to flip them on eBay. So, okay. Let's see what it says now. It seems like the search is better. It might take a little bit more time, but let's give it a go. Fucking hell. No community. It didn't even. I don't understand. It's doing. Where's VGF? Okay. VGF is in community with 2 people. Wow. Oh. That's funny. Did you guys just vouch for each other? It makes it no. You vouch for her. Yeah, there you go. That's funny. This is what you call a relationship visualized. That's really funny. Um, let me see someone else. Come on. Yeah, Scorp. I don't think yours is working either. I do want to fix this because I feel like that's kind of the value of it. Still seeing this issue. I'm not sure where it actually is. Scorp, do you know what community you were in? If you could share that with me, that would be great. Just what number? I'm not sure where Tut actually is in the communities. Everyone is in the communities for what it's worth. So yeah, I guess if what's crazy. So like, what was interesting about the VGF one of like, VGF has only vouched for one person and no one has vouched for him. If someone else were to go vouch for him, they would both get pulled into the community more than likely. It actually makes it pretty difficult to spoof in a lot of cases. Like if you're pulling people in, it just makes it more difficult to like spin up a bunch of accounts and vouch for each other, because then eventually what will happen is they'll all get sucked into the same community and their upside will be limited. Something between Ethos, Bitcoin, and McDonald's. Yeah, it's not orange though. Bitcoin's orange. Okay, you're in the Ethos OG, so that would explain it. I bet Tut is to miss the fervor, so playing catch up, but in the long haul, yeah. I struggle with it. I understand that, like, I mean, especially now, like vouching for 0.01 ETH, I'd like to think is pretty small task for a lot of people. It's not a lot of money in the grand scheme of things because it's a deposit and you can withdraw it at any point in time. The actual fees on it are, dollars and nothing more. I know that there's opportunity cost there and no one is earning yield, but I don't think there's a lot of people that are asking for yield on $50 either. So it's something that I'm thinking about a lot though. As it relates to like the future of Ethos and how do we ensure that like you have access to earning yield on some of those. Is it possible to check for chai lens? Yeah, let's do it. Chai lens. No, it didn't work. Is that what your actual handle is? Let me just search chai. Wow, there's a lot of people that match chai, and I have no idea why. What do you think? Oh, abstract's only in one. Is there only one person vouching for abstract? Black Fury, you are abstract's biggest fan. Oh, they got 4. So I wonder if it didn't get grouped super well with anything else just because there was no solid grouping between them. Yeah, it's bugging. Yeah, no, I'm trying to work on that right now. Yuri says the Ethos protocol is very valuable. Well, I don't know, man. Did you see the PMF question I asked over the week? People were saying they wouldn't be very disappointed if Ethos disappeared. So we got a lot of work to do still. Opportunity cost is why I stopped validating. For what it worth, had one ETH once. Yeah, my dream is that let's say that you had one ETH that you could vouch for anyone. My dream is that you would do it 100 times, not like one ETH vouch. Like I think this idea of vouching for someone is such a strong signal, and yeah, it has opportunity cost. Yeah, it has all kinds of stuff, but like one day we'll support other ways of doing that than just ETH. By the way, about vouchers, is it safe to withdraw your deposit after 6 months? Will affect the score of the person? Yeah, well, definitely. If you take the vouched ETH out, they will lose all the credibility score that they earned. So that's just the way it goes. We tried to avoid being explicitly Ponzi-nomics that many other people do, which is like, you can't withdraw your funds until 6 months after. It's not even technically anywhere close to what a Ponzi's definition actually is, but oh my God, did it just push this change? That's annoying. Let's go ahead and refresh and see if I can find anything else. Okay, let's close this part. Just load up. Oh, analysis 19. Okay, let's try Tut again. Man, what the hell? I don't understand. Like Snowwater? Does he show up? Yeah. Ben Walther? Yeah. I mean, it's like super fast. Scorp. Okay, so Scorp is not showing up and is in ID 0. Okay, Scorp.eth. Scorp is not showing up in the search result, and they are in community ID 0. Any idea why that would be? Again, sometimes this is like frustrating part of vibe coding is you like sit around and you're like, stupid shit, it's just not fixing itself. Why can't it fix itself? And I do this, I run into these things a lot. I wish we had native yield. You know, it's funny. Like, I mean, we just omitted it early on because you're like, do you really? I like, yeah, I know a lot of people want the yield, and if you're smart, you're probably farming some sort of yield. But like, I kind of liked that there wasn't yield. It felt even more of a significant thing to like take your money out of Aave or something or some other protocol you're trying to yield maxi on. In the future, there will be ways to support that. Interestingly, when we originally built on Blast, that was one of the best parts of Blast was that it had native built-in yield, so all of your ETH was always going up. I did like that part. That was the best part. What is R for R score? Is it punishment for high score? Nope. R for R is like people that are just in reviewing circles, and it's kind of like your rate at which you are doing that. It's very similar to this. This is all just like preventing people from like spoofing Ethos, I would say. All right, so it's got a new thing for me. It wants me to help debug, which is a good sign. At least it's thinking about how to fix things. Let's type in Scorp here. Okay, so we did get a bunch of stuff. Oh, it looked at all of these communities. Holy moly. Okay, so why did it not find you in community 0? Here we go. We go to community 2. There's like 10 community 2s. What the hell? Scorp. Okay, so it pulled the first 10 members and it just looked at the first 10 people? 40 members. Yeah, it's only loading 40 at a time. So that is basically the issue. It looks like it's only loading 40 at a time. I thought we agreed it could do like max 500 at a time to ensure we always search for everyone. Okay, let's keep doing it. My ETH is just sitting there doing nothing. I mean, isn't ETH value accruing value? You're securing the blockchain, brother. You're secure. Not really. Not. It's not proof of stake. You're securing Ethos, so making it more valuable. You're creating value. Mine did not show up at all, bro. I know, dude. We're trying to fix it. We're working on it live. Maybe this pattern and Blast for the win. Yeah. Is Blast coming back? What's the price of Blast lately? Current price of Blast. Pac-Man, you think Pac-Man's watching this? Good God. Oh my God, it's down 90% since it launched. What the? I think it went to like 0.04. Yeah. And it's still at 240 million FTV. That's crazy. Yeah, Blast not in a good spot. Not in a good spot at all. Most people are doing their trading on Bybit and Upbit, which makes me think, what the hell is KRW? Interesting. All right, this isn't a trading show. After seeing the leaked KOL sheet today, I couldn't help but think of a deal flow site that leverages Ethos. Have you thought about an interface for brands to do this actively or easily? You know, I think more about integrating into those products. I guess I suppose in the thought where deal flow is specifically investing in startups, which is what I think of at least. Yeah, I think you're kind of more thinking about deal flow for brands and how they hire marketers. Like there are a couple of products out there that are working on like how do KOLs work with, or how do marketing teams work with KOLs? How do they understand the reputation of those people? Like if you try to think objectively, semi-objective, okay, if you try to think of subjectively to get to objective terms, hiring someone like ICO Beast to talk about your product is absolutely better than Crypto Mama 14 who has 100,000 followers and has Forbes 30 under 30 in her profile or whatever. Like everyone knows that. It doesn't pass the sniff test. It's very obvious. We can see that on Ethos for sure. If you look at that list that I ran that pissed a bunch of people off, like no one knew any of the people on that list. I actually think the list was part of the scam, to be honest. I just don't think. I think that there are a lot of ways to qualify users for marketing teams that want to market products, for teams in general that want to know more about their users they're targeting. There's just a lot there that you can get out of it. And I'm aware of some teams that have done it. I know that there are some marketing agencies that are looking at that, but I have yet to see it like show up in someone's spreadsheet next to their price list or something like that. That'll be the day for sure. Okay, so it's just testing some changes locally. What did it say? Oh, the server needs to be restarted. So I'm an idiot, basically. Just an idiot. Just an idiot. All right, hold on. What are we doing here? Dino run, Dino task dev. Cool. Okay, Scorp. Yeah, I didn't refresh the oh, it hasn't loaded the analysis yet. So I'm gonna get caught up on chat. When Blast CTO, I don't think it's gonna happen. Blast was a good Ponzi. I don't know, man. I put my money there for a long time. I had like, we got 250 ETH in Blast, and never felt that like we made that much money on it. Do you think this will help him? I don't know who you're talking about. That, yeah, best blockchain for degens in 2024. Yeah, we were all just chasing Blast Gold, right? Okay. Oh, boom! Look, now it works. Sweet. Okay, so tut ETH underscore. You're in collab managers, Broski. Okay, so let me get rid of the logging. Okay, searching is working now. Can you get rid of all of the crazy console logs? Okay, so Tut is in this one I called collab managers. Now don't get mad at me if you're not a collab manager, Tut. Okay, that's just what I saw at a high level. I don't think it's actually collab managers. It's more like marketing team. I'd love to know what you would self-identify your group as. Where is our guy Tut in here? Your avatar is what? The hell is that? What is your avatar, Tut? It's like it's not a pudgy. What is your avatar? Art? Oh, it's art. Okay. Okay, but it's orange, so I should be able to find it pretty easily on here. Where you at, bro? Where are you? Anyone see him? Just make this a little bit bigger. Where's Tut? I guess I should add a search so that it highlights him. I don't see you in here. Oh, there you are on the left side. Okay, so you have, yeah, there you go. You would have higher global reputation. You got grouped into this for some reason. I think probably because proof of, I don't know if it's Ellie or EY. I have no idea. I've never talked to that person or heard someone say their name before. They're pretty heavily connected with like, yeah, Apex, who is pretty connected in here. I think there's probably a world where like this cluster is a little too optimistic because I see like, you know, I mean, it is interesting, right? Like Sammy's given 26 vouchers within this and he has 26 back. Like Sanjay has a ton of vouchers within this, 26 given, 13 back. Like, I don't think that these things are necessarily wrong. It's just they can get a little optimistic at times. So yeah, I mean, I would be curious, like, Tut, if you feel like it represents, like, do you hang out with Apex? Is Apex someone that you know? Like, you know, is Abi someone or Phrase, or like, are these people related to you, or are you maybe more on the fringe? I mean, you're just to be super clear, like it is putting you on the fringe of this network. Yeah, he's the only person I vouch for. Yeah, so like in theory, that also means that you have a little bit less data on you. Who is the Chai guy? Is your name Chai guy? Chai Lens? I didn't think people put Lens in their name anymore. Sorry. That was a bad joke. Okay, Chai, you're showing up in a group called CIS question mark that I labeled. I don't know that means CIS2. Yeah. So Splinteron was telling me that this is not the CIS2 group. There are a lot of Yapibaras in here. Yeah, so Splin, yeah, he was saying that it was more like marketing people, I guess. I don't know. I'd love to hear your thoughts, Chai, on it. If we look at Chai's profile, we say, okay, yeah, I mean, this is a great example. Like 3 within this community, 9 within other communities. And remember, this means that this is the best match for Chai. So like Chai is getting like vouchers from other places, but actually this is the one that he relates to the most. And so again, this would be more indicative of something like a global reputation. Scorp, we looked at it already. Okay, Christy says, nerf vouch for vouch if the participants do not follow each other on X, have been following each other for less than a week. Yeah, we thought about that. That's a pretty good counter signal. The challenge is that it's very expensive to get data about who follows who on Twitter. It is possible, but yeah, I would say that's a pretty good indication of LARPing if like you don't follow someone and you're vouching for them. Like following is like the most primitive form of trust, and you're not doing that. I do think that is a little bit odd. We could look at some workarounds for doing that. I think it's a pretty good one. To be like, wait, you're vouching this person and you don't even know them. But again, if you think about like Ethos one day, not that it is today, but like breaking out of just crypto Twitter, then like follows isn't the best one to fall like metric to use. Like, what if people are using Ethos exclusively on Telegram as an example? Okay, Scorp says check here. So if anyone else wants me to look at it, we haven't really created anything. I'd be curious if you guys have any thoughts on things that you would like to see in this graph or other improvements. Let's see if we can find Scorp. You would be green, right? And you have a zombie validator, which is a pretty good. Oh, what the hell? Oh, yeah, I can find you here at least, Scorp. Okay, so you should be green. I know I vouched for you, so I could probably find you by looking at myself. You can kind of see who are the like big nodes of people. Yeah, I've given 43 within this community. Okay, so where might you be? Lord have mercy. This is a fucking crazy ass graph. Where? There you are. Okay, so you've got 13 within received and 22 out. Like, again, I think that would be a better showing, again, of like global reputation. There are multiple groups of people that know you, not just like one very insular one. I have noticed that it is really funny how like the distances of things are like, or like look in here at the center of this, it looks very like blue and white and gray, as opposed to like if you go down here on average, like these colors are much more red here, which I think is interesting. This is actually a mini cluster within this cluster that I absolutely recognize. Yeah, interesting. Like this group of people are like a bunch of X-proof people, which is cool to see. I think the cluster is a little bit too clustered, is what I would say. But you can see like, on the fringe here, like lore punk. I haven't seen lore punk in a while, but like lore punk way out here, 8 received, 10 given. It's actually like mostly punks on this site. But she has such a strong tie to like original Ethos users between Christian, Zeta, yeah, like Sterling Crispin, who he's got a bunch of people within this group that he's vouched for, received from. Oh, he's not given any. So yeah, I mean, it's really fascinating stuff. I think someone pointed out there's some people that are like way out here. I have no idea why this guy got grouped in here. Beats me, man. Red hot. Yeah, I got no idea. DIY validator. That's really funny. I don't know who that is. Okay, hold on. Let me get cut up here. Threaders. Shit, I was AFK for a minute. Maybe you know him from Telegram or Farcaster. I don't know who you're talking about. I'm behind. The same applies to reviews. If you review someone but don't follow, yeah, I would agree with that for sure. It's just that like reviews already have such a limiting upside that I just haven't cared as much to solve them. Like we've solved them pretty. That's weird. Naruto is way out there. We solved them pretty handedly, in my opinion, through like a lot of the existing nerfs there. Here's another good one. This is actually a group of mostly Chinese people that, or Asian. I don't know exactly that the Chinese, but Asian people that know each other. People from Asia that know each other. Sorry. And you can kind of see like Uaya, who has a ton of external ones too. This is like a smaller, tight knit, like Draymond on our team, smaller, tight knit group of people, which is always cool to see. I will look at you. Let's see. Let's just look at Masky D Luffy. Let's see. I'm gonna guess in this. Oh, you're in Alpha Gems. Okay, so I'm not gonna be able to find your picture from here. It's not easy, but we can at least go up here and mask you. Yeah, so you got 43 within Alpha Gems. You've got 11 out. Again, I would say that means you have some, global reputation, which is really what we're looking for. I think at the end of the day, is Ethos important out of CT2? Not right now. Yeah, for example, any of the guys from the cluster you're showing has a lot of reviews, but Amazon, yeah, I know, I agree. I'm just saying, like in the future, like explicitly just relying on Twitter data is probably a bad idea. Here we are, fucking go, friends. Yeah, thanks, Louds, for showing up. We're glad you're 1% better today. Poor guy, just on his own there. Yeah, I don't know what those guys are doing. Okay, yeah, so let's think about how we might improve some of this. Oh, whoa, look at this. All these people with the same. What is this PFP? What is that? Does anyone know what that is? I know this guy. This guy's been in the community before in our Discord, V1Z. I just don't know anything about who these people are. Cool little network graph here. Let me see if I see anything else that looks interesting at first glance. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie though. I will click through some of these and I'm like, whoa, I have no idea who these people are. And it's always fascinating to kind of view them. It's harder to tell because there's so much coloring going on, and this is not how you like design a real app. But you can also get some sort of glimpse of like on each of these. Like if you scroll all the way up to the top, you should see a lot more greens. So like in the very top one, you see Ethos, Pork Bus, Color Block, a lot of green people, Vitalik up here. Once you start scrolling down more, like it should actually be more of a signal that like something odd is going on. Oh, here you go. Here's one. That's one of the devs on the team. Why did he get grouped in here? That's interesting. Sean's getting artificial robot is getting pulled into this group. Mr. Bazzoni vouched for one of the Ethos team members. There you go. It doesn't even know him. Doesn't even know him. I know, yeah, because Sean has one from Ben in there. I'm curious why he got picked up there. Mitosis Moors. Yeah, I don't know what you mean by that, bro. I just wanted to kind of quickly scroll down and see if I saw anyone else that was like super reputable in any of these. Oh, look, Echo. People have vouched for Echo. Interesting. Yeah, I don't see any. I don't like that there are this small of groups either, but I don't really know how to fix that problem. I think it's not the perfect signal, but it is some sort of signal still, so that's always good. Yeah, you got like PG here who has a bunch outside of this, but he has like this cluster of people around him. Okay, there's one improvement that I did want to make is in this list of community members. I feel like we need a list. Okay. In this list of community members, when viewing them, we show the @handle at the bottom, but I'd also like that to be a link to their Ethos profile. It can be found at https://ethos.network/profile/x/handle. Make the link look clickable with the open and new setting and icon next to it. So I just want to make it a little easier when you're browsing through this to be able to click out and view these people specifically. Right now, there's no way to like go look at them. Wow, I've caught up with the chat. This also is a crazy live stream. It's like the most people we've had in an hour, I think, by far. Thanks everyone for showing up. I'm sure there's probably only like 50 people live, but Twitter, for what it's worth, if you don't know, Twitter is super optimistic in how it calculates views, but I can calculate it relatively. I know how I match up against Thread Guy, and Thread Guy's much better than me. He gets a lot more views, but he's getting, I can look and see it's 10 times the amount. I think we get a lot more than most people in the space, though, which I always feel good about. Hopefully it's helpful for you, right? The idea is typically this is more vibe coding. In this case, we've spent a little bit more time on Ethos itself and getting people's feedback and thinking about how to approach some of these things. So it's clear to me that like the network graph has resonated with a lot of people. I don't love that it's always pushing. Like now that I have a production product, I could easily put something in cursor rules to say don't push. But like I want to manage a local environment. And I don't love that it's doing that. So stream name is definitely helping. Super clickbaity. Yep. Because I'm the master clickbaiting. Let's see if it works now. There you go. Okay. Profile X. Let's see if that works. Did I get it right? Yeah, cool. Okay, great. Oh yeah, and if you guys don't know, this is my show. Go vote in listings. We have listings live now. Look, Abstract has taken over the lead here. 95% bullish. It was Mega ETH last week. We got even Time Fund. People are voting positively for Time Fund. Love to see it. There has been some Infinex has not looked so great this month. And some of the other ones, yeah, Yeet's going the wrong way too. A lot of these are now bearish. Super interesting to see. Monad has not really broken out. I'm guessing that means their cards were not something that people were interested in. Let's give it a look here. Oh, no, went back down. Wait. Oh, no, it's going up all time. Yeah. Oh, we don't have today's calculation, which is the issue. I see. Okay. Anyways, I thought it was interesting. The people that have bought the pass haven't used it on anything yet. That would be one thing I'd love to see as new projects get on there. But it seems like people are bullish on Abstract again, which is something that you love to see for sure. I voted bullish. Let me see. Okay, hold on, let me catch up real quick. Curious if you took out the OG Ethos group, where we'd all end up. Yeah, I don't know how to do that. That would be interesting too. I think part of the algorithm is that they are tightly coupled together and that there's not really a good way to unwind them. Where would I start if I wanted to vibe coding? What tools you recommend? Yeah, so that's usually the preface of this. I use Cursor for everything. I think Cursor is the most I was going to say family friendly, like I'm recommending the Land Before Time. What I was trying to say is it's the easiest for noobs. It's the easiest to get started. Get Cursor, use Claude 4 Sonnet. You don't have to use Max. I'm just an idiot and try to make it go faster. Use agent mode for sure. And then just be honest with it. Don't be honest with yourself. Explain that you don't really know how to get things set up, that you're trying to get things set up. Anyone can do this vibe coding stuff, man. We've done loads of these, and I've seen lots of people crank pretty cool shit out, which is very cool. I love to see it. It makes me happy when other people are creating things, even if it's not related to Ethos. But we do build a lot of shit on top of Ethos. Okay, so let me just make sure I'm not missing any other chat. Sorry for your loss, dear Infinex, but yeah. What's your take on the pass? I think people are mostly speculating on the pass, which is cool. That was like one thing that we tried to add to the pass, where when you buy the listing pass, you can actually hold it for later. You can sell it to someone else if you want to. There's all kinds of stuff that you can do with it. I think adding speculation, we kind of modeled it somewhat after like the Hyperliquid ticker listings. But when you do that, you buy it and you sit on it. Like these are NFTs. Transferring things is a part of the permissionless nature of the space. So allowing people to buy that and speculate on it, I think is super cool. There are a lot of marketing teams that have been patiently watching it and different projects that have been patiently watching it, but the nature of a Dutch auction is very ruthless. So if you don't buy it early, then you might not get it. Am I a little disappointed that they're not getting used? I would say I'm not disappointed. I'd like to see them get used. It creates more narrative around everything. I think you know, I'd like to see like there are things that I would like to see that I would add if I could, but I can't now because they're past. Like I would love to see plasma as an example. I'd love to see like World Liberty Financial. Like how do those things match up? There's a lot of stuff that would be really helpful to see. Can you make the site give recommendations on who to vouch for next? I mean, yeah, interesting. You have a lot of vouches, right? Color block. Who else am I supposed to recommend you vouch for? I guess you could vouch for more people within your community. There you go. Maybe that's what it's supposed to do. All right. I forgot what we were doing. Okay. So we got this. We've added the average score, the median score. We've got things like density. The next thing that I wanted to try was different algorithms. So I'm going to say, okay, let's branch off and make a feature branch on get. I'd like to test out another type of algorithm. We have used Louvain. I always forget if I'm saying it right. And Leiden. Leiden seems to be working well. What if we tried another one? So Sterling was recommending. Shit. What was it? Nearest probabilistic alternatives to Leiden algorithm. I mean, it's going to tell me, but yeah, he didn't call that. It wasn't community detection. Surat. Jeez, what is that? What did he say? What was it? It was something crazy acronym. Let's just ask it. What if we try another? What do you recommend? So I am going to make a feature branch. If you're not familiar with how get branching works, or feature branching works, it's a very common practice whenever you're building a new piece of code or a new feature of code that you don't want to like muck up with working code that you have, to make a branch that is specific to that feature. I've noticed that Cursor is being very aggressive in pushing, and I could just tell it to slow down, but I want to put this in separate code so that's very easy for me to roll back if things don't work out correctly. So let me ask what it recommends. KNN would be TSNE. Thank you. That's what it was. Color block. Thank you. I don't know. Yeah, let's see if it recommends it. Holy moly. Let me catch back up. What did I miss? When hiring Buzz for community mod. We could hire Buzz for a community mod. Buzz has been very instrumental in helping out everywhere on Ethos, and we do have him in the developer program where we are subsidizing his cursor usage. The whole Inquisition. So many community clustering out. Yeah, I feel like what I remember about them is that it's always about like how efficient they are, right? Maybe this is because I took algorithms. Okay, so what is it talking about here? Label propagation. Completely different approach. Emergent communities. Oh wait, here's all the ones that it recommends. Info map. Excellent for directed networks. Your vouchers have directionality. That's true. Flow-based communities. Yeah, so it created a new branch for me. Finds communities based on information flow. Perfect for social networks. Okay, let's ask it. Let's just ask it real quick. Let's say, what about TSNE? I feel like I'm derailing your thoughts. No, someone on the team at Ethos was like, I'm pretty sure you have like the most ADHD I've ever seen in my life because my brain is just constantly swapping between 15 things. But I think that's what you need for sure. right? Where I can go back and forth and answer this person, that person question. My brain does not go linearly most of the time. There's a developer program. What? Yeah, I would say like it's like the secret menu at McDonald's kind of thing. Like if you know, you know. But yeah, we've helped people that have built powerful things. It just to be super clear, Ethos is very early in its like journey, right? I'd love to get to the point one day where I'm like, we're offering grants for people to build stuff, and we have all these ways to promote people building stuff on top of Ethos. But it's an early product; it's early in its life cycle, and so we're trying to give back to some of the devs that are building things that have built things that are really powerful. Ethosians is what Buzz is building. It's an extremely powerful. There are a lot of people that are getting a lot of benefit from it. It's just a different way of looking at data. So yeah, that it's a secret menu thing that we have a couple people on. It's an AI program that helps one decode. Yeah, that's what Cursor is. Secret McDonald's menu, no code, no burger. Yeah, you gotta, it's like proof of burger is what I would say. Like once you start building and we see some progress there, then it's a different conversation. I do think that anyone can build anything on top of Ethos with vibe coding right now. Like we have such an exhaustive API that you can do a lot of things. Okay, so we asked that a little bit about TSNE. I'm just going to give a word of caution about AI generally and my observation. It is so optimistic and encouraging that I hate it. It's like working with a yes man. And you're like, just tell me what I should do. Don't tell me that my ideas are amazing, you fucking idiot. Like, don't do that. Tell me what I actually should hear, right? And I feel like Claude, especially in coding, like if you don't press it on why, or if you press it in a certain direction, you're like, that's a bad idea, Claude. It'll be like, you're right, it was a bad idea, even if it wasn't, even if it was a good idea. So I don't like how subservient it is sometimes. And so I would tell anyone that's building stuff with vibe coding, you got to be careful about it being like, oh, this is amazing, because it's just like overly optimistic. I don't know that it's amazing, to be honest, and so I'm doubtful. So instead of just network connectivity, you can use TSNE with user behaviors like ethos score, internal vouch percentage, review patterns, vouch giving, receiving ratios. Okay, so applying clustering on the TSNE coordinates to find behavioral communities rather than just connection-based ones. Interesting. It could also visualize your existing community behaviors better. Or you could use both. But behavioral clustering would mean that we might need more insight than just vouching. The benefits of TSNE and behavioral analysis include the need to have more than just vouches on the platform, since that behavior is pretty binary and straightforward. Do we need anything else, or can it just work with vouches? How would you compare that to the other thing that I had recommended for me was what was it called? Infomap. I don't know what Infomap is. All right, let's just Infomap that fire. Is it possible to train it to be more pessimistic? Not with, I mean, maybe within the context of like, if you set up some rules in your code base and be like, hey, don't be such a grand optimist. Like, okay, here's the like, I'm not an engineer, and it makes it a little bit easier for me to say this, but like, most engineers would know what I'm talking about. In the corporate world, you work with a junior dev, and they're like, "Fuck yeah, I can do whatever you want, man. Like, I'll figure it out. I will write whatever code you want." A good dev or a seasoned dev would be like, you're an idiot for even asking that question. Here's why you're an idiot, and here's how we're going to do it. And there's a lot of nuance in that, and a really important nuance. And you want the senior dev to push back on all of your ideas, because then you actually get to the right answer, versus the like junior dev who's like, yeah, we can absolutely build that. We build that tomorrow. We will build that right now. I will stop everything I'm doing to build that. And Cursor way more emulates like a junior dev who's like, yeah, I'll do anything for you, man. So yeah, ChatGPT doing the same. I hate it. Yeah, as a sidebar, there's a real interesting tangential thing of like, what does it mean for the psychology of humans when you only talk to yes men? And it's kind of scary, honestly. I don't really like that concept of like, it can lead you down a really weird path, especially if you have a lot of trust in it. Let's go back here. Okay, so it compared these two algorithms. Again, I'm not an expert here. I don't expect Cursor to be, although it is very well researched. It doesn't fully understand our data set. So a unique advantage would be if it understands our data set and can talk really well about how things work in Ethos and how the impact of an invite versus the impact of a voucher versus a review. And that would be really beneficial. I have that, so I have to apply that to it. So it's kind of giving me a generic insight of like, okay, some people are vouchers versus vouch for. So InfoMap is still network topology and flow. Users who interact in tight groups versus users who act similarly. Now, I've heard of a lot of people talking about using stuff like tsne for looking at wallet behaviors. I'm going to say this until like you guys throw tomatoes at me. Ethos has a very unique set of data about wallet activity too, and we don't leverage that in any way. It will be, and I know there are many people who are very sharp on the quant side of things that are looking at wallet behaviors on Solana when trying to buy meme coins, when trying to purchase anything, clustering those and identifying new patterns and new opportunities based on that clustered data. Meaning, if these wallets historically loaded up on Sol, then funded blah, and then did this other thing at the exact same time, and they sent it to each other, bubble map style, like those can be really valuable indicators. And I actually think it would be really interesting eventually to imagine, if you want to think about opportunity for Ethos, imagine not only if you had these graphs here that showed how people were connected through vouching, but how likely are their wallets to do similar things? How likely are their wallets to mint XYZ project, to be up at 12 at night versus at 4 at night, to be listing things over and over again on OpenSea, to be bidding and stink bidding on art right now. There's actually an incredible amount of information that is untapped in that grand scheme of things. So, okay, let's look really quickly. Do I need to know about InfoMap? Like, what does InfoMap? Okay, so real world difference. tsne might find high vouchers versus low vouchers versus selective vouchers. InfoMap might find tight communication vouching circles, users who frequently vouch in the same groups. I think if we do the tsne, we need to add other behavior. I'm a little afraid to add reviews, to be honest, because I think when I did it last time, reviews really messed with the data and it made it really clunky. Because there's like 400,000 reviews now, and the network graph was a little dense. So let's try InfoMap. Can we add InfoMap to our analysis? Let's go with InfoMap as an option to analyze our data. Let's see what it does. Minimize a cost function. Partitioning is based on a flow. Okay, so flow is good because I don't think we're accounting for flow right now. Considering a sender pretends to communicate a random path inside of a network, the following is assumed: the size of the message is intended to be minimized. Oh, interesting. Right, talking about how to attack it, kind of. Okay, so let's go back. It's just a community network detection, basically. Yeah, interesting. Let me just try like, oh, look at these. Oh, that's fucking the UK. Took map a little too seriously. Oh, interesting. InfoMap bioregion. Interactive mapping out of biogeographical regions from species distribution. I guess that's more like meat bags. I'm talking about robots. What does this one say? Plus Huffman. Okay, interesting. Well, let's see how it starts doing it. It simulates information flow through the network and finds communities that minimize the description length of a random walker's path. That sounds fascinating. So let's fucking do it. Yeah, color block, should invites be included? I think so. I think invites are actually one of the strongest signals on Ethos. And like, if you invited someone to a community, you should probably be clustered with them. So that's one way that I might improve Lighten. It's fun with you guys. I need to go to sleep. Good night. Yeah, good night, Ghost. I know it's a long stream. Hopefully you got your super gulp or something that you're sipping down. I just have water in a Yeti. Yeah, what do y'all think? Just I did whip this like this up the visual thing up and down like in like the 4 minutes before I had for this. It does look pretty good though. Can you guys see the screen okay? Does it feel right? Does it feel professional? Does it feel like you want to come back again and listen to my chat one more time? Hopefully. If no one responds, I'll know that I have failed miserably. Okay. So one of the things that I did do, if you remember how it originally worked, there was like a bunch of different like ways to use the algorithm. I put all this behind an admin, and I have a password here to log in to run analysis from. So, and then I like choose if the analysis is public or not. So this one I show on the front end. So I have basically like two different parts of the product now. Like here. I guess this is still in light mode, which is fine. But when I run the analysis, it should let me do it from here. You will never vibe alone. Yeah, I appreciate everyone that shows up. I mean, I hope it's interesting content for people. I'd like to think that it is if people keep showing up. I think the last week has been a good combination between like people who are interested in ethos and people who are interested in vibe coding. Hopefully it's encouraging enough to see me be like, I'm just gonna fucking throw shit at the wall. I just want to see like, will this I don't know what the algorithms are. Will this actually work? And you know, it's pretty damn shocking sometimes how well it can work. I think the biggest challenge I have with streaming vibe coding is when I have to like fill stuff in. Like, I'm not gonna lie, 2 nights ago, like Saturday night, I was literally playing Madden and vibe coding between the plays. And talk about like ADHD brain. Like on two computers. So like I was doing two different code bases, vibe coding them while playing Madden, which Madden's like a very good game to like it's real football for what it's worth. And you can like between plays and stuff, you have a chance to come back to it. So that vibe coding is like the most asynchronous task you could possibly do. There is no synchronization to it versus when you actually write code by hand. No one's going to want to hear this, but there's going to be a world in like 10 or 15 years where people are going to be like, oh, you write code by hand? That's like using a fucking typewriter. No one's going to write code by hand in the future. So I started vibe coding without knowing it was called vibe coding. I really only think vibe coding has become possible personally where you can 100% outsource your code to just prompts since Claude 4. Claude 3.7 didn't do it that well, and Claude 3.5 was decent, but never to the point where I'm like, I'm literally just going to write prompts. So, and also, I still prefer, I have a personal preference that we use the term YOLO mode because that's what Cursor originally called it before they called it vibe coding. But vibe coding is a pretty good, like, I think it's a good word for it. I'll give a shout to like, particularly if you are someone who is more inclined to scam people or have no morals or ethics, you could probably build that project that you wanted to build and run people a bunch on with vibe coding. I bring that up not as an endorsement to vibe code yourself into a scam and make money, but as a word of caution of there are going to be many people who are going to be very good at making things look legit that maybe look like they've been around for months or years to build what they've built. And that's going to be part of the LARP is looking like they've done more than they have. We saw that a lot in the NFT world where, people would just go hire Fiverr artists to build NFTs. Okay, let's see. How do I actually do it? So go to admin interface, select info map from the algorithm dropdown. There's no algorithm dropdown. Does the AI have guardrails like, oh, you can't code that for you? Not that I've seen. I did tweet the other day, like, the way that I did ask it to like launch a pump fund coin and pump it to 1 billion, and it had a pretty funny response of like, well, we need to consider like legal and compliance. And it's like, and I can't pump it for you. And so like, I mean, obviously it has some uh limitations, but like that's like a logical limitation, right? Not like an ethical one. Um, I would imagine that if you asked it to create a campaign around phishing people and asking to get wallet addresses and steal information, I would imagine that it wouldn't stop you. I don't know how it would have enough context to understand that that is like ethically wrong. Um, which is weird because like there are limitations obviously in terms of like image generation and explicit content that ChatGPT definitely will not let you do. I don't know that like I don't know. I have no idea. If you like try to ask, text for explicit things, will it respond? I'm not really sure the limits are. I haven't tested them myself. So love these streams, learning a lot coming from Ethos sideline to line. Yeah, glad to hear. I'm glad that it's helpful. There's a lot. I think one of the biggest things with Ethos is it's very easy to kind of take like a shallow depth of understanding of what's going on and say, oh, yeah, this is just like cancel culture. This is just like a bunch of people that are farming. And what I try to reemphasize with a lot of people is like really trying like as hard as we can to build, ship, adapt. Uh, Whenever we ship something, we learn from it, we adapt. When we adapt, we tweak some settings, we create new EIPs, we change the scoring, we change the levels, whatever it might be, and we observe and we see how it works and we adapt again. And it can be very easy, especially in crypto, to take any particular product at a point in time and say, oh, this is exactly what this product does. And don't be ignorant, not even ethos related, but to like what the possibility is as opposed to like what it looks like in a point in time. We all have ADHD as well when we're trying to focus on things. And it can be really easy to look at something and say, oh, yeah, it's exactly this. Wait. Click the blue run new analysis. Oh, okay. Wait, nothing happened. Run new analysis does nothing. Okay, let's just restart the server and make sure nothing crazy is going on. Dino task dev. Get back into admin here. Yeah, okay, so I click on, this is weird. I don't like when it does this. It's just annoying. You told me to click run analysis. Wait. Click the blue run new analysis button, but I didn't get a modal or any type of errors. Yeah, so why? My goal at the end of the stream, we got half an hour left, and I'd like to keep it concise to 2 hours. But I would like to get to a point where we can run this new algorithm and see how it compares. And then on the front end, you can kind of compare two different things. Like you can compare the Leiden algorithm that we did in this new algorithm. And I think, like, again, going back to what I was just saying about like learning by shipping and adapting and trying to figure out how it all works, I'd really like to use this time vibe coding with people to get to a better understanding of what that global or local reputation means. I think that would be the most beneficial thing for everyone. And then we're kind of all on the same page once we start thinking about it as part of an EIP. It says it's a timing problem. We get any new interesting slashes today? Let's go look in the meantime. After school club. Dude, everything Eclipse is getting slashed right now. BTC Turk and Eclipses. Just the brands. Yeah, I did see that Pigskin Fantasy went from they refunded people's money. So that would be a really good one that I've thought about a lot with Ethos of like, yeah, rush to get people's money. I mean, if you refund people's money, it's usually a good thing, but yeah, it didn't seem like it was going too hot there. If an AI has open source code, can anyone remove all of its restrictions? Yeah, I mean that's like what I'm not the expert. I'm not the expert here, but what is Facebook or Meta is one called Llama or something. It doesn't have any limitations to it, but you have to run it locally or pay for someone to host it. And so yeah, you can do whatever the hell you want with it. Do I have any specific time you do streams? Yeah, we do them at 3 p.m. Central, which was an hour and a half ago on Mondays and Wednesday for vibe coding. And then we do Tuesday and Thursday at 10 a.m., which is like 3 UTC, I think, or 1500 UTC. On Tuesdays and Thursdays. And then on Friday, we do a stream in the Discord. So yeah, I pretty much try to stream every day. My biggest thing like building a product is you got to stay close to your customers. So oops, let's hide that one. All right, let's get back in here and see if we can make it work. Let's go back to our admin page. There we go. Okay, so let's try our info map. I bet it doesn't work if I were just to guess. Okay, I clicked start analysis and nothing seemed to happen. Don't see any server logs or anything on the front end. This is where I feel like I'm just kind of chasing my tail sometimes when I get into coding, vibe coding. I don't know if it's that there's too much context in this. So like this right here has all the context of every conversation we've had within this like conversation. Does that make sense? Everything I've asked it for probably the past few days is in this context. And so it has the context of the conversation, but it doesn't always have the like full, which means like when you start a new one, it can miss a lot of context. Sometimes what I worry is that it loads too much context in. If you use Claude Code, it actually refreshes the context pretty often for you. So it'll restart the context basically. And I think that's actually helpful for like kind of keeping it fast and not too like stupid, I would say, but I don't know. I've been using this context window or this tab. It's kind of like having a tab open in Chrome for like an extended period of time. I've been using this one for a while, and so it's helpful because it knows the context, but it doesn't always mean that I think it's doing its best job. Okay, info map, start analysis. Okay, so this is starting it. I don't see anything on the back. Oh, there it is on the back end. Yeah. Ooh, it even gave me cool emojis like walking, simulating 1,000 walks. Interesting. I don't know what info map really is. Not all open source is truly open. Some releases are under restrictive licensing. Like, yeah. I mean, the other thing about open source that a lot of people realize is like just because it's open, open source usually means that people are contributing on it from outside of the community. That is a very different thing than like the source code is available. Source code available just means that like anyone can go use the source code versus like a truly open source project means that other people are working on it. I don't know that really matters in this context. It's just like all the stuff that we've made, I try to put in public repos on the Ethos GitHub, but it just means that the source code is available. It just means it's open source. I have no idea how long this is going to take. I am kind of interested to see if there's like a YouTube video that shows me like how info map works. Not that anyone really cares. Let's just see what this says. You guys are watching me watch a movie. This is like total Inception now. Especially like an academic movie. Yeah, I mean, community detection is really all we're trying to do. What's interesting too that I think we could do eventually is like community detection for us as like people that vouch for each other. We've talked about adding other things in there like invites and reviews, but it could also be content. So You could say like these groups of people typically are left the same type of review. Like the content is about being a collab manager. And you could find those collab managers in a community graph pretty easily. It will actually pull that it won't show you that it was about collab manager. It'll just group them because that's what the data is getting clustered on. And so I know that like Facebook and Twitter and stuff, they all have a lot of different that's like how they show trending stuff. That's how they show stuff in your feed, is that it's very much based on like clustering of topics. What is it talking about? What are the weaknesses it's talking about? It doesn't say. Oh, it's in French or something. Even though this is in, yeah, okay. So this is talking about why Leiden, the algorithm that we are using, is not great. Okay, so man, you know what? Okay, I last took algorithms in. I took algorithms in 2010, so 15 years ago. And I feel like I remember this kind of now, like this, like, oh, well, InfoMap is like the real answer for all like community detection. It's been so long since I've had to think about any of this. Yeah, there you go, talking about like the actual math behind it. Again, like if you think about everything that we do on the internet, wow, it's still running. If you think about everything that we do, everything is so abstracted. A lot of these hard problems that people have to solve, we don't have to think about anymore because we don't like how a electron moves along a CPU is not something that you have to think about when you're writing Ethos, as an example. A lot of this stuff is very abstracted from us, and a lot of these things would actually be abstracted from us too. We don't have to actually understand them at all. But it is really fascinating how Cursor can theoretically do much better, or any AI or LLM would do much better at guiding you through this because it does understand them even when you don't. And that's what that has been kind of the theme that I've been trying to teach people is like, oh man, heat bath algorithm. I don't know about that either. That I'm trying to teach people that like you don't have to know all of these things and it can still guide you through it. It's not going to give you the perfect outcome, but man, if you can get 80% a lot of the times, whether it's you want to build a new startup, you want to try building a new product or a new app on your phone, like it's going to get you pretty far. And within our company, we found that being able to do stuff like this, it goes really far for us trying new stuff out, for testing things out. It can be really, really fascinating and helpful. This doesn't look like the most visual thing. Info map, Twitter, data. 1 million tweet map, big data at your fingertips. Oh, so label propagation was another one. Why am I seeing a Disney ad? Is it because I have kids? Come on. Come on. Wow, I'm not watching someone else code. Okay, so it's going through a second iteration. Please don't write any code. How many iterations should it go through? It took about 2 minutes to get through the first info map iteration. Yeah, we're not watching this. I was just hoping to see, oh, here we go, Twitter visualization. Display tweets on a map in real time. That's not what I want either. Yeah, I will say that this is one of the biggest weaknesses of Twitter lately is they used to have such a great developer. They used to be like the gold standard for developer relations, honestly. People would build all kinds of interesting stuff on it. And, once Elon took over, they took a very like protect our data perspective. And that means that people can't build us cool things on top. But it looks like, this person was able to tweet like to build some sort of like actual map based on who was tweeting from where. I mean, that's cool, right? Like that's what we want to lean into a lot. Enabling people to build things. Okay, sorry, I missed this one. For someone who's into vibe coding, which element? I would always use Claude 4. Claude 4 is the go-to. I've tried GPT-5. I've tried Gemini a little bit. I've tried some of the other ones, but Claude 4 is just the best. I don't think, and GPT-5 is just not even worth wasting your time anymore. All right, what did it tell me? Oh, fuck. It's going to do 100 iterations? For this test run, let it go for 5 more iterations maximum. Okay, so it's already found 2,263 communities. Interesting. So I don't really know what these numbers mean in terms of the communities. I mean, it's found a second set with half the number of communities. It probably does mean that InfoMap is significantly more harsh on your computer to get it to work correctly. So we might not be able to get it to work properly in this. What are these shorts recommendations? Really trying to get it canceled. It's probably not going to be the best for vibe coding demos, so we might have to call it soon. But I am very interested to see how InfoMap compares. I think the last thing that I'll probably spend a little bit of time talking about in terms of the actual real data that people are looking at is how would we portray, or how would we observe yeah, I don't think this local host is going to work because it's trying to calculate stuff elsewhere. Network, Ethos network analyzer. By the way, there are some stupid things that drive me crazy. Like it doesn't have very good caching on this right now. So it has to like load the analysis every time. It should have much better caching, but it doesn't. So now I just get to talk like I'm an idiot. Yeah, thanks, Gold Yick. Thanks for showing up. So what I was going to talk a little bit about is like how would we actually take this into practice? Yeah, I'll use the CyberKongz community as an example because when you first look at it, it is very red. There are a lot of people in this community that I believe they all know each other, but they do have more limited reputation. And as an example here, this Von person, if I go here and I search Von and look at their profile, they've gotten to 18, 13 reputable. They have 32 vouchers. Like it seems pretty straightforward, but it's undeniable that this person has pretty exclusively built their reputation up locally. So what does that mean? Does that mean that when we think about their score breakdown, does it mean that they can't get any higher than maybe we split this in half and you can only get so much from global versus local reputation? Is that true for mutual vouchers? And how do we actually display that to users? And I'm in a camp of two different places right now. Like, I think there's a world where you can make an argument that these people should not have as high of scores that they do, but I don't really see anyone that's like massively overscored. I think I would actually rather say we can give you higher score if you have more external reputation. Look at this, Deltron has 48 vouchers received, 50 given, 8 outside of that. To be honest, I'd rather kind of focus more on like limiting the upside of getting your reputation exclusively from a local region. But the other way to solve this again is you kind of introduce like score inflation and you allow people like Deltron, or if you even took any of these people here that maybe have more external reputation, you allow them to get more reputation out of it. I haven't figured out what the math is. I don't think it's 21 to 7 means it's at, whatever percentage. I think there's a world where you could say if it's 100% internal in the community, then you get nerfed a little bit. Of course, that's going to make other people just get one more vouch from outside of their community. And then they'll kind of not abuse that, but it wouldn't be too terribly hard to get one vouch from outside of your community. So I need to think about it more. But what I would say is, I look at some of these communities, and yeah, this one has 73% internal. It's not bad. It's just that if you went and looked at any of these profiles as a bystander, you might be like, well, who is that person actually? And I don't know who that person is. And I want to know more about who that person is, but like I don't have any mutual followers that they do. Or, I mean, like even some of these names, to be totally fair, look kind of sus, right? Like Sweet Lolo 0621. It seems like it's a real user. There are notable people that are vouching for this person. I think it all happened right after the CyberCons thing that I did. And went and talked to them. This guy's account seems odd. Well, he's got a lot of people that say positive things about him. If we go look at his profile on Twitter, you're like, oh, that's kind of weird. Like, I mean, I guess they're just like reposting stuff. Like, it doesn't exactly inspire confidence for a lot of people. That doesn't mean they're not real, right? Like, it doesn't mean that they're not. It's a challenging problem, and so I don't know that I think that this person, as an example, should not have as high because they only have local reputation. But maybe it's just that you can't earn as much. Maybe it's that you can't unlock as much unless you get to that global level where there's other people vouching for you too. So that's just one of the things that I'm thinking about right now. It does look like this is going to take a while, so I'm going to let it keep going in the background. I'm going to call it a day a little bit early here. I always appreciate everyone showing up today, participating. Oh, now my banner's all messed up because I didn't just go back to the regular speaker view. So yeah, what an idiot. What an idiot. I'm going to do this and it's going to mess that up. I'm just going to look like an idiot for a few seconds here. There it is. Yay. Thanks everyone for showing up today. I always appreciate it. I think it went really well. I think it was really informative. If you ever have feedback, want to let me know about something, maybe my audio sucks or maybe you hate the McDonald's hat, just let me know. You can't get the hat. It was an exclusive thing. It's not for sale. Maybe one day we'll auction it for charity or something. We'll see you guys around. Hopefully have a great Labor Day. Hopefully if you're in the US, you're out grilling some burgers or something. It's raining here, so it kind of sucks. We'll see you guys later though.